everybody, and welcome to another episode of Muppet Monday! Alright, so some of you have asked me to give my opinion on the recent news that Sesame Street is moving to HBO, of all places. And for those of you who aren't aware, here's the breakdown. Sesame Street has recently announced that it has started a new partnership which will allow HBO to premiere the next 5 seasons on their network. So I'll be honest, this was really strange to me at first because HBO is not a network that's available to everyone. And the reason that bothered me for a hot second is because Sesame Street has always been non-profit and it's always been available to the public for free. And since PBS is non-profit, it's available to families who have kids who are less fortunate. And that was great because they were able to have free access to educational television. But it turns out there's more to the story. From here on out, Sesame Street episodes will premiere on HBO, but after a 9-month period, those episodes will then air on PBS. And good news for public television, this will allow PBS to air the episodes free of charge. And as part of their agreement, Sesame Street will now be able to produce almost twice as much content as their previous seasons. They'll be producing 35 episodes a year now. So is there a downside to this? HBO will also have access to over 150 older episodes of Sesame Street, so they will be able to broadcast reruns, and PBS will be doing the same thing. HBO has also licensed the Sesame Workshop series Pinky Dinky Doo, I don't know what that is, and The Electric Company. You remember that one where the words like talk to each other? I never really watched that show, that's the only part I really remember, but that's what most people seem to remember anyway. So again, I'm confused, is there some sort of downside to this? This might be a short episode, guys, be ready. Oh, and it gets better! The Sesame Workshop will also apparently be producing a Muppet Sesame Street spin-off of some kind, and they're planning to make another educational TV show. So in a nutshell, HBO will be producing new episodes, they'll be premiering those new episodes as well as new content, and then those episodes after 9 months will be going to PBS, and both networks will also still be running reruns. Where's the downside? I'll be honest, when I first heard about this, it didn't sound like a good idea, but after doing all the research and seeing how it's gonna fare out, it still doesn't seem like a really good idea. It sounds like a great idea! Also, the day before the HBO news surfaced, we found out that they would soon be cutting down their airtime from 1 hour to just a half hour. Oh, it sucks, but you know what? It kind of makes sense. From what I understand, the ratings of Sesame Street have worked out as such. The first half hour, the ratings were great, but in the second half hour, the ratings unfortunately plummet. I have 2 theories as to why this is. One, if you think about it, getting your 3-year-old to sit and watch TV for an hour is actually really hard to do. After a half hour, most toddlers want to get up and run around or go play it with arts and crafts or with Barbie dolls or whatever it is kids do these days. Oh god, I sound so old saying that. So I'm sure that after a half an hour, most parents turn off the TV and make their kids go do other things. My other theory is that in this digital age, we're constantly consuming more and more information than we can retain or keep track of, all the time, including kids. And I think the last thing that a lot of these kids consuming information want is to be watching something for an entire hour. Things used to move a lot slower in the past decades, but now people want information faster. Maybe in some ways a 1-hour show is kind of overwhelming for kids. I don't know. It's sad to think, but 1 hour of information might be a bit much for kids these days. And a half hour might be closer to what they need. And who knows, I mean, the way things are going, in about 10 years we might be just watching everything in like 10-minute segments on the internet. There will be no need for TV or anything. It's a little sad and weird to be thinking about cutting the runtime in half, but if we still want to appeal to the core audience, then this is probably the smart thing to do. But like I said before, HBO is apparently going to be producing twice as much content as before, so that means probably 4 times as many episodes as normal. I don't know, you do the math. And one more thought I have about all this is that as a puppeteer who has been lucky enough to be working a fair amount in the field, this will hopefully create more job and work opportunities for puppeteers, as well as other people working in the film industry. I don't know, but as someone who has been a starving artist and has worked in a creative field, especially in this recession and economy, it always makes me happy to hear fellow puppeteers are getting more work, and it could also mean more work for even more puppeteers. It could happen, I'm just saying. To be perfectly honest, I'm really not seeing a downside to this new partnership, except for that maybe PBS won't be getting those new episodes sooner. But kids don't pay attention to whether a new season has started or has been delayed. That's something for nerds like me to be worried about. Kids will still get to see the reruns and they'll still get their content and eventually they'll get to see the new episodes, so I think everyone will be happy. And maybe HBO should be airing more family-friendly entertainment anyway. And it's not like HBO has never had any kids TV. I mean, that's where Fraggle Rock got its start. And finally, right here is where I would be commenting on how being on HBO will now finally give this series an opportunity to have nudity and killing in it. But let's face it, everyone else has already done that. There have already been lots of great memes showing up online, and even Jimmy Fallon has contributed his commentary to it.
Pro, the whole cast of characters will be there. Con, half will be killed off in the first episode. Oh, nobody's safe on that network.
And with Elmo on the show, it sure gives a whole new meaning to the term red wedding. Ayo! That won't happen, but wouldn't that be such a dark turn if it did? What a twist! We won't know for sure how the whole thing's gonna pan out until the new season starts, but it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good thing. Sesame Street has also had their ups and downs for the past 46 years, but they're still on the air after all this time, and I think that expanding to a lot of popular networks is gonna be a pretty positive thing. For the next 5 years at least. Hey, at least we know they'll make it to the 50th anniversary. And according to Sesame Street CEO Jeffrey Dunn, this will secure them financially for a couple of years, and it may even make their popularity even bigger than it already is. So I have high hopes for this. So those are my thoughts on Sesame Street moving to the HBO network. Now my question is, what do you think of the HBO network move? Go ahead and leave your comments below, and also be sure to let me know if there's anything specific you want me to address in the next Muppet Monday. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel and my vlog channel, and I will see you real soon for some more reacts, reviews, and Muppet Mondays. Bye, Adorkable Buddies!